Hi everyone, welcome to today's video where we're ready to get steady. So today we will spend a little bit of time focusing and breaking down our connection and our foundations on the mat. We'll work to get stable, we'll work to get firm and steady in these foundations so that we can then build up and out from the very root of our practice. It's fantastic for beginners to encourage the correct alignment to take on through the practice, but equally it's a very great reminder for anyone who's been practicing for a while to break down back to the basics to make sure that we're practicing in a safe and secure way. So let's begin by coming to your seated position, and that could be in a chair, on an armchair, on a sofa, and we're just going to rest the hands onto your lap or your knees, and we're going to close our eyes and become aware of whichever parts of the body are rooting you into the ground. So we may begin to feel parts of the feet. We may notice the sit bones. And it may be nice just to shuffle a little bit and get equal in the seat. As we begin to notice the spine rising up through from the hips, connecting to the earth, getting tall with our body. And we're going to breathe, cultivating that smooth breath, excuse me, breath, to take through and carry through in our practice. So just a reminder, we're going to bellow through the belly as we breathe in. And as you breathe out through the nostrils, just allow your belly to deflate. So no strain on creating a full breath. We're just inviting a slow, lazy breath. And again, breath in. And breath out. We're going to open the eyes and we're going to take the right hand to the earth and really root through all of the fingers. So even look down at your hand, plug in the thumb, the forefinger, the middle finger, the ring finger and the pinky, and then allow the knuckles to settle into the earth and allow the wrist to press into the ground. And then we're going to press into the mat like you're making an imprint into the ground. And this may then encourage this hip to get further into the earth. So if you feel like you're taking flight in any part of your body, just get nice and equal and get really rooted through the feet, through the sit bones, through the hand. And then as we breathe in, we're going to reach it up towards the sky. And as you breathe out, we're still going to reach, be alive through the fingers because we have this firm foundation to encourage us up. And then as we breathe out, we're simply going to keep reaching, but bend through the supporting arm and invite the ribs to nudge up towards the sky. Keep breathing. On your next breath in, we're going to release the stretch over our ear. And as we breathe out, again, reach up towards the sky, bend that supporting arm. Keep plugging into all areas of your hand, get connected to the earth. Use that hand to leverage your hips deeper into the ground. Next breath in, we'll come on up and we'll do the other side. So same deal, press in all of the fingers through the knuckles and then settle into the wrist. Use that hand to press into the ground to root through the opposite hip. Breath in, and if it's okay for your gaze, you can take it, for your neck, excuse me, you can take it up as you breathe in. Otherwise, you can keep the gaze ahead of you or even down over your shoulder onto the earth. Quite nice to look down just to get that deeper feeling of connection to the earth. Breath in, press into this hand, reach up towards the sky, maybe the shoulders. If they're rolling forward, you take them back a little bit. And as you breathe out, keep pressing into the ground. Please keep plugging this hip into the earth. Bend the supporting elbow, reaching that hand over your ear. Now nudge the ribs up towards the sky. Keep breathing. Bellow that belly as you breathe in. You rise on up. Next breath out. Plug that wrist down, plug the hips in, reach on over as you bend through the supporting elbow. Another big breath in, nudge the ribs up towards the sky, and as you breathe out, maybe you settle a little further forward, further over. Breath in, we're coming up to center, and we're gonna go over onto all fours. So the hands come underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, and we're going to feel all of our toenails pressing in to the earth. So starting with the big toe all the way down to the little toe, really press in the tops of the feet, press into the knees, and again get deep with the hands into the mat. The front body comes to the back body, and feel free to close your eyes so that you're concentrating and more aware on your foundations. So feel strong by pushing the ground away with your hands, with your knees and the tops of the feet. Draw the front of the body into the back, and as you breathe in, we're going to hammock our belly into cow posture. As you breathe out, keep pressing into the earth with your fingertips, with your knees, with your toes. As you curl the spine up towards the sky, tail bend down, chin to chest. Breath in, we'll just do another round. You hammock into the belly, into cow posture. And as you breathe out, chin to chest, tailbone down. And then we're going to come to neutral. So we're just going to take our fingertips forward, and then we're going to take our hips and draw them down so they're in line with the knees and the shoulders. So there's no kind of sassiness in the bottom right now. We're just bringing the hips down, inside of elbows, sweep forward, and you take your gaze forward. Keep pressing into the knuckles, the forefinger and thumb. Deep breath in. Keep pulling the front body into the back body. Really feel your foundations get rooted. Deep breath in. Feel your strength get stable. And as you breathe out, press into the roots. Get steady, steady, steady as you breathe out, bringing yourself all the way down to lying on the mat. So here we've got a full body connection to the earth. So bow your forehead onto the ground. Feel your hands into the earth, and all of the front of the torso, including the pelvis, particularly the pelvis. Press that pelvis into the earth. Fire up the legs and press the feet into the ground. And get as equal as you can in all of the activeness, pressing into the ground. So we're rooting, and on our next in-breath, we're going to press into the hands, press into the pelvis, keep the head low, and take the gaze forward. So it's only the first few ribs that are coming up into low or baby cobra, and then we breathe it out and bow it down. Feel the ground, connect to it with your forehead. Let's do that one more time. Breath in. Elbows are in towards your ribs, and the shoulders are heading out behind you. And bow down. One more time. When you're ready to breathe in and out, you rise on up, you curl on up. Let's keep the head low and then bring it forward on the end of your in-breath, and then as we breathe out, you bow it all the way down towards the earth. This time, we're going to press on up as you breathe in onto all fours, and you may need to slide your hands back and bring them back towards your body a little bit underneath your shoulders. Get into your box pose, your flat back, and we're going to raise on up with the knees. So our foundations have become a little bit smaller now, so we've only got our hands and our feet. So let's just pedal out the feet to begin with. And if this feels too much for you today, you can be on your knees and you can just pedal out the feet by taking one foot back and then the other. Otherwise, you're in down dog and you're moving from one side to the other. And then big breath in and out. We take the heels up onto our toes and down, the heels pressing towards the earth. We'll take a look at our hands. We're going to stroll our feet up. So if you're on all fours, you bring one foot forward and then the other. Otherwise, we're all going to meet in a very generous knee, bend in the knee as we forward fold. Vertebrae by vertebrae, we curl on up to standing. Let's take the arms wide, palms pressing, and the tailbone is down. And so now the hands meet our heart. The foundation has become smaller still, so now we're only on our feet. So let's spread the toes. For me, I like to start at the little toes and then spread the toes and place them down onto the earth that way. Now, even if they do not move, it's the activeness, the intention to spread the toes that lifts the arches of the feet. The arches of the feet invite an activeness throughout the body and connect to the glutes. So you're nice and strong with from the foundations all the way up to the body. So let's try that again. And you can start just by lifting the toes and then spreading them as much as you can to get rooted. This in turn, as we've just heard, makes us nice and steady and stable through our legs into our hips, and then we can work from here up into our core. So we lift through the sternum, the head is facing forward, the shoulders are back and the arms are down. And from here we're going to bend the knees. We're going to raise on up through the arms, palms pressing. And hands to go wide as you breathe out. Keep pulling up the legs, keep spreading the toes so they're connecting into the earth, lifting through the arches, lifting through the legs as we forward fold. Bend the knees in order to get rooted and ground through the fingertips. So more stability, more foundation, more steadiness through the practice. The crown of the head is reaching the earth. You can work towards straightening the legs here, but it's more important that they're just fired up, even if the knees are bent, to reach and ground through your fingertips. We're going to breathe in, lift through that right leg, place it all the way back and drop the back foot in to about 45 degrees, but it really depends on your hips. So traditionally, the torso, the heart in Warrior 1 is facing the front of the mat. But this really depends on your body, and your body depends on how you live every day and how you have lived every day to this point. So I would suggest just moving that back heel to a point that you're back foot feels firmly grounded, and then you pull up through that knee, through that thigh. Don't worry too much about the torso at the moment, it will come in time. But do invite that knee over the ankle, so you can lift that heel and just get it nicely aligned and stacked over that ankle to begin with. So we're really pressing into the foundation behind us. Don't worry too much about the front at the moment. Just really press into that foundation behind us and press into the tailbone to keep it down. So that's our stability and steadiness. And as we breathe in, we invite the hips, the navel and the heart forward as much as is comfortable for your body today. And then we breathe in, and as we breathe out, we raise through the hands, and with the very end of your out breath, you see how much you can honestly move into that lunge without cranking into it. And then let's ease off, let's pulse with the breath, let's straighten that leg, and breath out. Keep breathing out, keep breathing out. Keep the back leg rooted in, keep all of the toes at the front rooted in, and breath out. Breath in. And let's do that one more time. Breath out. So the hands stay hip distance, shoulder distance apart. If you've got any shoulder issues, your hands can be wide, they can be cactus arms, or you can simply rest at heart center or your hips. Let's ease off that front leg. And then if your arms are up, we're going to split the left arm forward and the right arm back. And now we're going to pivot that back foot so that our hips and our torso are facing more towards the side. So we're going to take the gaze forward, drop the shoulders, and now once again root through the feet completely. Pull up the arches to activate through the legs and connect to your glutes. Energize all the way through the core to the center of this pose. And as you breathe out, the gaze goes forward. You keep reaching your fingertips, root into the ground with a steady, mindful breath. You lean in. Let's rest the arms, breath in, bring them to heart center. Keep looking forward. Keep your awareness without looking at that back leg. Fire it up. Deep breath in. As we breathe out, reach forward and back with equal effort, inviting the heart to stay over the hips. Minding out for that front knee. Breathe in. Stay there. If you feel at the end of your breath you have a little bit more space, you can slide a little bit deeper. Let's come off that. Breath in. Well done. Hands to heart center. Let's pivot to our feet to the long side of the mat. And you can place your hands on your hips. You can move your hips from side to side just to move out anything that might have got a little bit gathered through that practice. So we're going to just do the other side by simply pivoting the foot behind us to point to now what is the back of the mat. So in Warrior 1, the back heel slides further out so that your toes face kind of 45 degrees forward. Again, depends on your hips. And just a little note that make sure your feet are not on one line. So you're not kind of balancing on a tightrope, because your foundation, your steadiness will be compromised. So I invite you to take your feet on train tracks. So they're about hip distance apart, roughly, if that works for your body. But the main thing is they are not stacked, lined up one behind the other. And again, root through the back, fire up through that leg, offer your navel and heart around to the front as much as is available to you. It doesn't matter what it looks like, it's that effort. So fire up through that back leg, hands to heart center. Deep breath in, raise on up with the arms, gaze goes forward. And as you breathe out, we're going to just bend into that leg. Let's ease off, breath in. Concentrate on the foundations, press all of the toes in. Get equal in the heels and feel for the sides of the feet. Press all your foundations deeply into the earth, breath in and breath out. Keep breathing out, keep leaning in, keep breathing out. Breath in, let's ease off. And one last time. Keep breathing out and lean in. Now, if your back foot is taking flight, root it down, get strong, get stable, and then expand. So keeping your heart up, your sternum up. And then we're going to split the arms. So the right arm goes forward, the left one back, and we're going to pivot on that back foot, to our warrior 2. So in warrior 2, the back foot moves roughly out towards 90 degrees toward the short side of the mat, and the heart is being offered to the side. Again, your gaze is forward. Reach with the back hand, reach with the front hand, and invite this knee to pivot towards the front of the mat so it swivels the hip and the tailbone underneath you. As you breathe out, we're going to take a lunge into that front knee. Breath in, let's ease off. Breath out, let's reach. Inviting the heart to stay over the hips, just so that you're not compromising the pelvis by leaning too far forward. Breath in and breath out. And release. Let's give our arms a rest by bringing our hands to heart center and pivoting both feet to the long side of the mat. And here you can just heel toe to bring your feet together. And we're simply going to come down onto the mat. And shuffle yourself towards the front of the mat so you have space to lie down behind you. And your knees can be bent. And we're simply going to support ourselves today to come to lying down. Now, if your back is talking to you in any way, you can take a few moments just keeping the knees bent and invite you to rest the knees against each other and take your shavasana in this pose. So this is the corpse pose, where we just let go of the physical body and take a few moments to ease and surrender and let the body rest and restore. If you're okay in your back, you can take the feet out, perhaps as wide as the mat, maybe even shake it out. Again, just walk the shoulders down. Maybe you want to rock your gaze from side to side. And close your eyes. And once again, from your feet, notice which parts of your body up through your legs are connecting to the ground, which parts are making your foundation and rooting as you lay in Shavasana. Continue to feel your body up through the hips, all the while surrendering any areas you may feel sensation, whatever it is. Breathe it in, let it go as you breathe out. Through the torso, through the back, the shoulder blades, the shoulders, the elbows, all the way through to the hands. Completely soften through the face, soften through the brows, smooth through the forehead, and ease through the jaw. And just take a few moments to return to that lazy, long, sleepy breath easy breath that we may have had a challenge to keep through the movement. So let's just return to it and allow the body to rest and restore. So if you have the time, you can of course just stay here, keep threading the body, keep releasing and just keep breathing, letting the breath rise and fall. Thank you very much for practicing with me. Namaste.